like a pleasure just to be leading this panel, like with these great speakers. We are going to be the last panel. Imagine the responsibility that we have here, but we are going to touch the most important topic right now. No, it's just like to create impact in the agriculture sector. We're going to do a short presentation of each of you, just like we have Natalia. Natalia is like a really like entrepreneur mindset, like a stunning achievement with your startup. Like you are like part of the South Summit like family, if we can just like describe it like this. She won the prize last year. Congratulations. Yes, it's like amazing what you were like achieving with your platform. You're going to tell us more about that like in the next questions. We have Darius, like also we were like talking before about the impact that they are like creating with the venture capital. He has a really strong background in the academics, and now it's just like he's moving to the venture capital just to like doing this scouting for new ideas, new like business, creating impact in the food industry. And we have Amparo, like an old friend. I always say that Amparo is an old friend. We are like meeting always like in different scenarios, like talking about entrepreneurship. She has a really strong background in entrepreneurship, like from the academic, from different institutions, you know everything about entrepreneurship right now. Not only in Spain, you also like been touching in many other countries. That's why we have the privilege to have all been sitting here to talk about prosperity. No, that is like a really important topic. And we're going to start like with Natalia. No, I think it's like really important just to start with you that you are coming with this idea, no, just to have your impact with your startup. And you were like using technology, you know? We were like just also talking about how this like small changes in technology can affect people's life in the rural areas, no? Because I think something that happens with this sector, and we were like discussing all before, is like with some small changes, you are changing people's lives. Like the social like impact that we have. I also have a company, like a chocolate company that is like based in Colombia, that the impact that you can just have like in social, like environmental things too, and in economics, how you change people's life is really important. But you can just like tell us about more your idea about how technology is just like changing like how the people is connecting, no? Because you are like trying to connect with this agricultural people that is working on the field with the end of the value, the chain, no? Maybe you can just like tell us about how this idea just came to your mind and how technology is like improving people's life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so this project started about 5 years ago, and it came out really from working with the ecosystem, with the farmers themselves. We were experts, we knew a lot about technology, so we were working with these farmers, helping them to be more efficient as consultants, right? And as working with them, we saw that there was a huge need for technology adapted to these small farmers. Mm-hmm. We work mainly with organic, local family farmers. So as we were working with them, we were seeing that they were still using very archaic, very, very old techniques for managing their businesses, right? Like a notepad with a pen to trace the traceability or make the invoices. At the same time, we were seeing that there were so many innovations out there, like with satellites, with IoT, with, you name it, right? That these technologies were designed, or at least used by the largest farmers, like mainly monocrops, or more like unsustainable farmers, whilst the organic, local family farms, they weren't really having access to these technologies. Why? Well, on one hand, because there was no technology adapted to their needs. And in this case, we're not talking about a very crazy, deep tech technology. We're talking about like very basic, simple things that they need for managing their business, like an e-commerce, like a ERP, like things that are basic for the companies, right? We
are helping all the companies, yes, just like implementing that, no?
Yes. So we do two things. We can be separated. Like we do technology, we do innovation in technology. So we've developed this platform, an all-in-one platform for organic or local farmers. And also we do social innovation, which is very important. And this is something that we don't talk about.
Where do you have more like the impact, no?
Well, I mean, you really need to. If you work with local or small farmers, you really need to do social innovation if you want to have a real impact in the community you work with. Why? Because technology is not accessible for the farmers by themselves because they don't see the value, they don't have the knowledge, and many times they don't have the financial capacity to, or at least the vision to adopt these technologies. So you really need to work with the communities. And when I mean the communities, I mean like the rural associations, the local governments, the universities, the farmers associations, organic certifiers, all these people that have been working with the farmers for many, many years, and you are entering there with a technology that makes just the whole ecosystem more efficient and more profitable with this little
changes,
key in technology. So in terms of like social innovation, what we're doing is we are helping farmers to come together in regions, so like in the region of Madrid, for example. So there is 30, 40, 50, 100 farmers. We help them come together and to sell collaboratively to the local demand, mainly school canteens or hospitals.
That's good, yeah.
In this way, the hospitals or the school canteens, the kids can eat fresh vegetables, organic, local, seasonal, and at the same time, the local farmers have their produce sold at good prices.
No, that's great. It's amazing what you are like doing. It's like the achievements that you are like creating is amazing. Just like going directly with these farmers that can be connected through the technology that you are like doing it's amazing. That's why you won the prize last year. Yes, it's like the things that we need just to create more innovation and just put the technology on their hands, no? Just to be more like efficient, as you say. Okay, we're gonna move like a little bit in this conversation. We're gonna move with Darius. We were like talking about like it's really difficult just to find like raise money in this sector, no? It's like we are not talking about a lot of technology that is changing, like maybe like how we're like seeing the business right now. It's like quite difficult for people who are like working in this sector just to find money, just to grow their ideas or like move up like the business that they have. And now maybe Darius, you can just like tell us more about what Food Lab is doing in this moment, just like doing this scouting, just like trying to find new ideas that is having the impact on this food sector. But also like really important, and it was like something that we were like talking also before. Of course, like we are like talking about agri-tech, no? Like technology that is transforming the sector, but also what is like the impact that this like a sector or like the business and the startups that are you looking for are like changing in these rural areas or like in some people that like are working on the field.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. So just as a little bit of introduction to Food Labs, we've been around for almost 10 years now, and as the name suggests, we invest all along the food value chain. So everything from agricultural production all the way down to consumer goods, and also some adjacent fields as well when it comes to recycling and circular economies, as well as climate. And yeah, we look at that pre-seed, seed stage, really early companies.
That is really important just for the new ideas that are like coming, just to try to find like new funds, no?
Exactly, and there, we're really looking at the current trends, where the vision looks like the sector is going towards. So kind of understanding that is super important. With regards to what you said about difficulty in looking for funding, I guess agriculture had excellent funding years between 2019, 2021, those years, because of the economy, and that also brought in lots of investors from kind of adjacent fields, not those specialized specifically within food and ag, and so there were huge successes there in terms of the ease in fundraising, but that's obviously changed. There seems to be a bit of a correction, and funding is, it's still there. It's still getting to levels of what it was previously, just not as much as before. And so when we compare it to industries like, pharma and other kind of life sciences, biotech, maybe the amounts might not be similar, but I think opportunities are definitely still there for startups to get their money. When we're looking at, fintech, pharma, the return is obvious to investors, and that's where I think it's really important for startups within the space to emphasize not only their impact, but also how they can feasibly scale and bring those returns. And not every startup is made to be a VC backable startup as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And in those scenarios, alternate sources of funding might be the best way forward, whether that's through debt financing because you've got a lot of infrastructure required, or whether it's through government grants, and even partnering with industry.
Yeah, I think it's like really important what you say. Not all the companies are like for VCs, yes. They need to know exactly in which stage they are, no, just to move in that area. But there is still a lot of resources, no, as you mentioned, no, that they need just to like maybe change sometimes the business model that they have in their minds, no, this because sometimes these people are not like having, as you mentioned, these visions or create more like a sustainable like business model at the end, just to reach more money, to be profitable, and to be a scale up. And I think that's why it's important what you mentioned. We're going to move with Amparo. Amparo, I think, is like what you are like doing currently is like amazing too in this institution. It's just like helping this food sector just to be more innovative, like just to be like a scale up these ideas, not just to like move the business in a next stage. What do you like tell us more about what you are like currently doing there, the different projects that you are like looking for? Because you are you are managing the entrepreneurial like activities, and it's like really interesting just to see, because sometimes for people who are working in this sector, we don't know where to go, no? We don't know which entities which like are supporting this kind of sector, and I think it's really important the mission that you have and all the resources that you have to help like the startups that are coming from this sector.
Thank you, Juan. I'm going to try to keep it short, the pitch. But basically, EIT Food stands for the European Institute of Technology and Innovation, in this case for food. We cover the entire value chain, from farm to fork, including everything that is in between at different levels. So we like to see ourselves as a community. So currently, we are more than 200 members. Big corporations, research institutions, universities, scale-ups, and small and medium-sized companies. So our mandate is to drive innovation, to change the system, the agri-food system, through innovation. So what we do in the part of entrepreneurship is we support startups and future startups, because we start in the technology transfer to the very end. Through the community, I mean, we have projects for all the programs for all the different stages, but the important thing is that we do this by having this strong ecosystem, because startups at different stages, either they need support to get to the market or to create the company in this early stage technology transfer. We have to see that this is a sector where there are many B2B businesses, and with some of them with a strong, I mean, with a very important component of hardware or capex. So they need to connect with the big corporates, because they are the clients. So that's another element that we focus on.
You connect with the big corporation that when they need it.
Connecting them with the big corporations that we have in the community, that are all the famous ones that you can imagine, the things that you're eating around, and all the transformation industry is very present. And then finally, we have a small investment arm. So we invest in the companies, startups that we have supported, between 300,000 euros and $500,000. And that's, I like to say that this is the easy part, because as I said, there are many B2B companies, B2B startups that they need to reach higher production volumes, and the only way is to invest in capex there. Yes. And that is where is a bit of the venture capital industry is still very shy about it. So that's one of the challenges for entrepreneurship in the sector.
Yes, it's really important. I think it's what you mentioned. But here, like in this panel, of course, like we are like talking about food tech, we are like seeing about the venture capital that is behind this sector. We're like talking about the different programs, the one that Amparo was like telling us. I think we are talking about impact, no? I think it's like this is our main like topic. Of course, it's like really important just to like been talking about innovation, technology, but also just to see how can we change a little bit the mindset of the new entrepreneurs, or also the VCs, or like the institution, like different policies at the government. How can we foster these ideas, no? Because at the end, this sector goes directly to the field. No, it's like when you go, for example, in our case, I'm just going to talk about my company. We are like helping the farmers, no, the cocoa farmers. We go directly to the cocoa farmers just to see how they are living, and we are like changing people's life. We were like discussing and talking about that this sector, what this sector has, is like a really strong connection with people in rural areas. No, they are ones like they are like producing the food that we are like consuming. No, we have to have that in mind. That is like really important. Of course, technology is important, as you mentioned, with the technology that you are like with small changes in their business, you are like rocking up the business at the end. But this is I really like just to have a conversation about this, no? It's like how you see the impact, how you see the the changes in people's life with this sector, no? Because we are like talking about agri-tech technology, new technology that just like being more profitable, more like, I don't know, just like to move in that area. But in some way, we need to talk about impact, no, guys? We are like just to see, of course, we need profitable companies. But I think we need to change a little bit the business model, no? Just to change these people's life and just to be fair with the people who are like in the field. That's why in each of your cases, in each of your field that you are like touching, for example, from the entrepreneurial area, from the VCs, and from the institutional side, how you are like seeing this? How can we just like foster this in the, like ideas just to move the mentality and the mindset of entrepreneurs just to have more impact? Maybe just like help with the different like policies at the governmental like point, just to help more this kind of entrepreneurs, or like institutions, just to be like, or VCs also, just to be like not only looking for the profitability that the companies can have. Of course, then we all need to be profitable because at the end we are business, but have more impact, more like impact in the social area and the environmental too, because we are like touching the earth, no, like the field, and we need just to change. Like, look at what is happening with the cocoa right now. You know, the prices are like really really, really high, and also it's because of the change in the weather, like all the like what is happening now in Africa. That's why it's really important just to have this topic. And I'm going to start with you, Natalia. How you see this in these entrepreneurial ecosystems? What do we need to do? What we need just to spread the word in the entrepreneurial ecosystem with the government, with the institution that can change these ideas.
Like from my perspective, I see that we've encouraged a lot this image of the entrepreneur as the disruptor, the one that comes into a market and makes a huge change as by himself or herself, and takes no one with them. Sometimes not.
Sometimes we are like trying to.
There's a bit this image out there, and what I think we should do is like to change the perspective, especially in agriculture, because we're talking earlier, right? The farmers are very, they've suffered a lot.
They are suffering, yes.
Everyone tried to take advantage of them, so they really need to get the trust from you to adopt your solution or to follow what you're saying.
No, and also to understand what is behind, no? Because I think it's like also a problem with the farmers, no? Because they don't understand exactly the effort that you are like putting to sell their products, no? I think it's both sides, no? And I think it's really important what you say.
Yes. So I would say that if that little thing, like the change in perspective of the entrepreneurs, instead of just finding or trying to find their solution, instead of that going to the community and talking with the actors, there is a million there. People that know a lot about agriculture, that have been helping farmers for decades, really to find collaborations, which is something that is also very hard sometimes, to find collaborations with the ecosystem, with the NGOs, with the foundations, with whatever little market you operate in, and find the way to add your little like piece to the whole cake that is already happening to multiply the effects of what you're doing. I think that's like one of the missing like things that I am seeing in the ecosystem, in the food tech ecosystem, as I talk with other entrepreneurs. This, and also within the investor side, agriculture, again, is slightly different from other sectors because it's moving usually a bit slower, times are different, as well as the impact. First, because the impact is huge. It has impact in the local communities, in the environment, in the
environment, and I think it's like really important just to include too,
Yes. In the biodiversity, in the local economies, in the culture heritage of where the farmers are, right? In terms of seeds, breeds, techniques, 1,000 million things. So also so I was saying about the investor side, I think there needs to be also more investors with this view that we are usually doing systemic change, and systemic change takes time, although it's more secure, safer in the long term because you've established very solid grounds. So whenever you start growing, you grow with a lot of like core, with a lot of like strength behind that doesn't just fall out in a minute.
Because we were like also talking about the greenwashing or like the impact washing that many of these startups are like using too, no? this is like really important because now all people are talking about impact, no? When you have like a pitch, well, they have a lot of impact. They're like changing people's life, but when you scratch a little bit behind there is nothing, no? They're like using in terms of marketing or like in terms to how they can sell more, because also the client and the customers are like looking for this, no? Are looking for like products, and they need to know exactly what is it behind. And I think this is really important. How do you see this in the entrepreneurial area right now?
It's something that gets on my nerves because I'm a very impact-driven person, and I do what I do because I believe in it. And whenever I go to, I don't know, a VC or an impact fund, that they say they're impact, but they don't understand what a systemic change means. Well, I think it's something we are improving a lot in. In Northern Europe and Central Europe, this is a lot more developed than in Southern Europe, unfortunately. As a startup, we actually have European investors, because in Spain there is not so many. It's growing, but as usual, we're a bit behind in everything that has to do with ecology or sustainability.
Yeah.
We're getting there. I'm sure we will get there. But yeah,
that's why it's important to have people in the sector as you, yeah? Just like spreading the word about the needs that the sector has. Okay, thank you very much. We will go for you, Darius, how you see it.
Yeah, so when it comes to impact, I think, first of all, it's great to be in the sector of food and agriculture because it's so evident what impact we can make, right? It's so intertwined with climate, with sustainability. I mean, food is central to our being. So what's great is I think there is so much out there with impact that finding the intersection with also returns it's a big intersection. There's a lot out there.
That's true.
And we don't see it as mutually exclusive at all. And I mean, there's a reason why there are so many tailwinds for this right now. It's that this will be the future. We can't carry on going on in this way. We need alternate solutions, and those alternate solutions will have to replace old ways. And being able to build such ventures and be within that space is really exciting. A little bit on what you mentioned about kind of substituting into existing frameworks and not trying to disrupt a whole ecosystem. I completely see that. Yeah, I see that angle for sure. I think it's a matter of timescales. So I come from an academic background where I was part of an academic project, lots of blue sky horizon research. We're talking about a decades-long timeline in order to improve our agriculture through crop genetics. I mean, there's benefit there, but the timescales are often very long. But I think there's some merit in such kind of blue sky research when we think about the efforts being made into kind of completely transforming the way we see our food systems. Like, why do we have to stick to our traditional forms of agriculture? I mean, we've seen these trends when it comes to alternative proteins, for example, or different modes of farming. And I think there's a place for that. It's just the timelines are very long. And on the flip side, there is definitely a place for kind of making tweaks within our existing systems and bringing proper, real efficiency that makes immediate impact towards our food systems as well. And there's also this intersection, right? For example, crop biologicals is a big theme at the moment. Like, what can we apply to our crops instead of chemicals in order to bring sustainability and not damage our ecosystems as much? Sure, you can do as much R&D as possible to create an amazing new novel input, but it needs to be able to integrate into current systems so that farmers will take it up, so that it can actually be utilized in a way. So I think being aware of that balance is super important in order to actually deliver that impact.
Yes, it's really important. And also, I was like, something coming to my mind, it was like also the impact that we need to create to our, like the customers, no? Like the people who are like eating the food, like that's why we need just to create healthy food, no? It's like in some, like where we are like only talking about impact, just like with the first part of the value chain, but we are not talking about the impact that we create with our clients, no? The people like us that are like consuming the food product. Thank you very much. And also with Amparo, how you see it, like now that you are like doing this also in your institution, what kind of like things that you are like seeing in the ecosystem, they are like having real impact, not like, how can like in your case, if you are like if you have programs that are like supporting this kind of startups or like new businesses coming, just to like measure the impact that they are like having right now.
Okay, yes, I like to build the answer around one specific project and not focus on the startups. if you allow me to. So I think that now what we're asking the farmers, and what we try to do is very much farmer-centric.
Yeah.
We are supporting the ecosystem to move from conventional production of food to regenerative agriculture. That has nature.
This is
and
really
soil.
important right now, like the
It has,
regenerative.
It has soil and biodiversity at the center. So when you look at the farmer, I mean, agriculture is already very much technified, but everything is oriented to productivity. And farmers, they get paid for what they produce and for producing much cheaper, even through systems like the European Common Agricultural Policy. This is what this policy incentivizes. And now we're making farmers the guardians of our nature, of our biodiversity, of our sustainability. And that's a challenge for them. I mean, they can apply any technologies, but you cannot build on top of what they have to do on the daily basis. Now, that's the reason we see that.
And talking about this, it's like a new policy that is going to come to Europe, that nobody can just like import like products from the outside, that they were like coming from not like deforestate. Like
and you have to be fair, because we are imposing European farmers. We are imposing European farmers certain conditions that we don't impose to products that are farmed elsewhere around the world. But going back to what we see there is that farmers get on top obligations on top of what they do, but there is not clear the reward system for them.
Yeah.
I mean, there are two elements that are necessary. First, there are still some technology areas that they need to be developed, because when we talk about measuring soil health, it's what we measure, how we measure. To date, there is not a real standard on what we consider soil health, and measuring accurately soil health, carbon sequester, etc., is still very expensive. So you could not do it at the scale if we wanted. So there are still some technologies that are needed to do that in a more efficient way. And then we need business models, because if farmers are asked to keep biodiversity around them, like improving water quality, improving air pollution, this is a system that they deliver to the ecosystem, but it is not a business model. It's already a bit started. There are carbon credit schemes that can be applied. People are already talking about biodiversity credits, but that's not at all. There are a couple of
like
startups
a new term that is coming, no?
Yes, there are some startups and people thinking around how to reward farmers for their impact in the biodiversity around them. But that's new business model that need to be created, and many stakeholders around that need to be involved. So when you consider the impact that you can do through agriculture, you have to keep farmers at the center of everything, because then everything becomes circular. If you produce products or you produce in that way, then the food that is produced has a higher nutrient density.
Yeah.
Then we also need to think of what we're eating and how it impacts our health. So this is something where also the consumers at the end, we as consumers, we need to be conscious of what we buy.
Yeah,
So
that's why we were
it cannot
talking
be done,
about,
this systemic transformation cannot be done with all of us being part of them. And that's the real challenge, new technologies and also new business models. And it's close to a strong component of social innovation that is needed. I think that Natalia already, that is close to farmers and the communities, realize that maybe not from the stage we can do much.
Yeah, but I think you mentioned something important, is the business model. Sometimes we need just to change how we are like creating the business model, just to include these new terms, no? Like, as you mentioned, no? Like, we are putting a lot of like pressure in terms of biodiversity in many countries. Like, for example, in our case in Colombia, it's like we have like one of the most like biodiverse countries in the world. And when you are like creating this I don't know, like new policies, it's like really difficult for them, because it's like, as you mentioned, technology is like already on the field, no? But they cannot like maintain the biodiversity just to like move on. Thank you very much. I think it was like a pleasure. We can just like stay here like for hours just to talk about this impact, and this is like a really important topic just to discuss. Thank you very much, the South Summit, that gave us the opportunity to talk about this and to talk about with this outstanding speakers that are from different fields. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being here, just like hearing us about this, and thank you, and hopefully just like see you again in and another like ecosystem event, no? Just to talk about.
Thank you, Juan Carlos. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, Darius. Thank you, Amparo, for this wonderful panel. Great.